Sigma males are not typically the type to avoid people as many might think. However, if you display certain behaviors, they might slowly begin to pull back. This can happen without any obvious signs, leaving you confused about what went wrong. You may start to sense a shift in their energy, but the reasons might not be immediately clear. Here are 5 behaviors that will definitely make Sigma males avoid you. Number 1. Excessive self-promotion. Nothing makes a Sigma male back away faster than someone who can't stop talking about themselves. While confidence is admirable, there's a clear line between healthy self-assurance and constant self-promotion. If every conversation somehow turns into a showcase of your achievements, you're likely pushing them away. These aren't the people who occasionally share good news or celebrate genuine successes. We're talking about the ones who manage to steer every discussion back to themselves. Their social media is a highlight reel of humble brags, and their stories always cast them as the hero. This behavior really irks Sigma males because of their natural tendency to observe and evaluate rather than promote. True value doesn't need constant advertisement. It speaks for itself through actions and results. You'll notice their subtle withdrawal when you start listing your accomplishments or name-dropping important connections. While they might nod politely, their energy shifts. They're not impressed by your attempts to establish status or importance. If anything, it makes them question your authenticity. This extends beyond just talking about achievements. Constantly posting selfies, sharing every minor accomplishment on social media, or frequently reminding others of your position or status. These all fall into the same category. It's like watching someone try too hard to prove their worth, and Sigma males can smell this insecurity from a mile away. Even in professional settings, where some self-promotion might be necessary, excessive trumpeting of your achievements will make them skeptical. They prefer to discover someone's capabilities through observation and experience, rather than being told about them repeatedly. Sigma males value substance over show. They're drawn to people who let their work speak for itself and who can discuss topics beyond their own achievements. For them, the loudest person in the room is rarely the most interesting or valuable. The real issue isn't the sharing of accomplishments. It's the constant need for validation and attention that lies beneath. Sigma males see this behavior as a sign of internal insecurity, and few things repel them more than someone who needs constant external validation to feel worthy. Number 2. Energy vampires. Everyone has bad days and moments of frustration, but there's a special kind of person who seems to find problems in every situation, who can turn any positive news into a potential disaster. This constant negativity is like kryptonite to Sigma males. It's not about the occasional complaint or legitimate concern. It's about those people who habitually drag conversations into dark territory. Every story they tell is about how someone wronged them, how unfair life is, or why things will never work out. Their default response to any situation is yes, but. Sigma males can't stand this persistent negativity because it's a waste of their time and energy. It's true that life has its challenges, but these men prefer to focus on solutions rather than dwelling on problems. When someone consistently brings negative energy into every interaction, it becomes mentally draining. You'll see it in group settings. The person who always has to point out what could go wrong, who finds flaws in every plan, who can't seem to see any silver linings. Initially, Sigma males might try to offer perspective or solutions, but when they realize this negativity is a pattern rather than a phase, they begin to create distance. This aversion to chronic negativity comes from Sigma males' practical nature. While criticism and skepticism have their place, constant negativity is often a sign of a deeper issue, usually a lack of personal accountability or an unwillingness to take action to improve one's situation. What's particularly exhausting is the victim mentality that often accompanies this behavior. When someone constantly positions themselves as the target of bad luck or other people's actions, never accepting any responsibility for their situation, it becomes a red flag. Even worse are the emotional vampires who not only wallow in their own negativity, but try to pull others into their dark worldview. They seem to take a strange satisfaction in breaking down others' optimism or enthusiasm, as if misery truly does love company. For Sigma males, this kind of energy is simply not worth investing in. Some people are committed to their unhappiness, using it as a shield against taking responsibility or making changes in their lives. Number 3. Talking over others to show how much you know. Some people just can't help themselves. The moment someone starts sharing an experience or opinion, they jump in with their superior knowledge. It's not a conversation for them. It's an opportunity to showcase their supposed expertise, even in topics they barely understand. You know the type. They interrupt mid-sentence, start their response with "actually," and somehow always know better than everyone else. They're not listening to understand. They're just waiting for their turn to speak. Or worse, they don't wait at all. While Sigma males value knowledge and intelligent discussion, they find this behavior particularly off-putting. The difference lies in the intent. Real expertise doesn't need to announce itself by drowning out other voices. It's especially obvious in group conversations. These know-it-alls dominate discussions, barely letting others finish their thoughts. They've got an anecdote for everything, a correction for everyone, and apparently unlimited wisdom to share, whether anyone asked for it or not. The irony is that this behavior usually reveals more insecurity than intelligence. Someone truly knowledgeable knows the value of listening, understands that others might have valid perspectives, and doesn't feel threatened by not being the smartest person in the room. These conversation monopolizers often miss the subtle signs, the rolled eyes, the shared glances, the way people slowly stop engaging. They're too busy proving their intellectual superiority to notice they're actually pushing others away. What makes this behavior particularly grating is how it shuts down genuine exchange of ideas. Interesting discussions get derailed by someone's need to prove they're the expert. Valuable insights from quieter people get lost in the bombardment of unwanted corrections and interruptions. And worst of all, it forces others to either compete for airtime or give up on contributing altogether. When faced with this behavior, Sigma males will often withdraw or find ways to avoid these individuals. They're not interested in competing for the spotlight or getting into a battle of egos. They prefer to have meaningful conversations with people who are open-minded and willing to learn from others. Constantly trying to one-up each other is not their idea of a stimulating discussion. Number 4. Acting dumb to get people's attention. You've seen it happen countless times. A perfectly intelligent person suddenly starts playing dumb, especially around someone they're trying to impress. Their IQ seems to drop by 50 points the moment an attractive person walks into the room. It's not just about pretending not to understand basic concepts. It's the whole act, the exaggerated confusion, the helpless gestures, the flattery disguised as ignorance. Some guys even downplay their knowledge or skills just to get attention from women, acting clueless about things they clearly understand. While Sigma males don't necessarily judge others for wanting to impress someone, this kind of behavior makes them cringe. They find it hard to respect someone who has to resort to such theatrics for attention. It comes across as desperate, childish, and annoying. You see it everywhere. At the gym, where someone pretends they don't know how to use basic equipment. In social settings, where they act confused about simple tasks just to start a conversation. Even in casual group chats, where they deliberately misunderstand jokes or concepts to get others to engage with them. The worst part is when this behavior becomes a habit. Some people get so comfortable playing dumb that it becomes their go-to social strategy. They've learned that acting helpless or clueless often gets them the attention they crave, especially from those with a helper instinct. The dating world is full of these types, the ones who pretend to be lost and in need of rescue, hoping their target will swoop in to save the day. This calculated stupidity is exhausting to watch. It puts pressure on others to constantly play the role of the knowledgeable one, which can be taxing and draining. It's like watching someone pretend to be a different person just to fit in. Sigma males have little patience for this kind of performance, and they'll likely avoid people who rely on it. Playing dumb might get short-term attention, but it never leads to real connection or respect. Number 5. Talking too much without saying anything meaningful. Some people seem to have an endless supply of words, but a limited amount of substance. They can talk for hours about nothing in particular, filling the air with empty conversations and meaningless chatter. While being sociable is one thing, drowning others in a sea of pointless words is something entirely different. These aren't the people who engage in occasional small talk or share light-hearted stories. We're talking about those who seem physically incapable of sitting in comfortable silence. Every moment must be filled with words, whether it's repeating the same stories, stating the obvious, or rambling about topics they barely understand. While Sigma males can appreciate good conversation, this kind of empty chatter quickly depletes their social battery. They value precision and meaning in communication, making endless small talk feel like nails on a chalkboard to them. Watch how quickly they disconnect when someone starts recycling office gossip, sharing every detail of their daily routine, or explaining simple concepts as if they're profound revelations. Though they might maintain a polite exterior, internally they're already planning their escape. Some people mistake quantity for quality when it comes to conversation. They believe that talking more means communicating better, but in reality, they're often saying less of value. It's like listening to a radio station that's all static and no music. The problem intensifies in group settings, where these verbal marathoners tend to monopolize conversations. They interrupt others, hijack discussions, and rarely pause long enough for meaningful dialogue to develop. It's not just about being talkative, it's about lacking the awareness to recognize when words become noise. Sigma males tend to be selective about the people they spend time with, and this aversion to empty chatter is a big part of that. While they may seem quiet in comparison, they prefer to choose their words carefully and use them for a purpose. They have little patience for those who don't share this approach. When faced with someone who treats conversation like a one-person performance, they'll quietly step back. This isn't about being antisocial or dismissive. It's about valuing substance over noise, quality over quantity.